Greetings, ISD192 staff. Jason Berg here. I was hoping and wishing that we'd be able to do some sort of end of year celebration in person for all our staff, but unfortunately, we're not at that point yet. Um, I it's hard to put into words, but I wanted to take a moment and just thank everybody across our district for all the work and effort and solution finding that people put into the last 2 months. Pretty crazy to think that in February, some of us were just ending, second trimester, getting ready for kind of that next phase of the school year, thinking about spring break, thinking about spring activities. And within a matter of a week and a half, we went from being face to face and getting ready for all those things to providing and designing learning in a distance learning environment. To say that our staff handled that better than probably any other staff across the nation would be an understatement. We know that there are places in this country that stopped and quit distance learning because it was just too hard. I think about all the tremendous things that we did to support our community, whether it was our food service providing up to almost 2,000 meals per day, whether it was community ed providing emergency childcare for our frontline workers on a daily basis, or whether it was our custodians keeping our buildings clean. As we came in and used spaces and in those childcare settings and in the buildings that we provided our food service in, or if it was just the fact that we provided distance learning experience for 7,200 kids. It's pretty remarkable that we were able to do that and do that in a fashion that our community felt good about. I've told our administrators numerous times that when things don't go well, people, typically bypass all chain of command and go right to the top. I have only had one conversation with a parent around distance learning, and they brought up some really good points. But other than that, I have heard nothing but praise for how our staff has supported families and learners in this distance learning period. And I think that just goes to the type of people we have in our district. It would have been easy to say we can't do this. I know there was angst. I know there was anxiety. We all had that. But people dug in right away and said, how can we do this? I think it's also important to note that we applied a lot of lessons learned from our flexible learning days. We've had the opportunity to practice those for the past 6 years, and we figured out some of those pinch points, and we were very mindful in our design around distance learning to be mindful of those and try to relieve the pressure on students and families. And I think we did a great job for that. And for that, I am thankful to say that I work in this district, that my kids go to school in this district, and that we have the type of people in this district that are willing to just go head on and figure things out. I know that buildings are doing different celebrations with reverse parades and different things going on, and I've had the opportunity to drive by those and wave at people. We have a couple more coming up tonight that I'm going to stop through. And again, I wish I could get out, give people hugs, fist bumps, and high fives. But again, we're just not at that. So you're just going to have to take the wave that I give and the smile that I give you. I know there's a lot of thoughts, and we start to think about next fall. And the reality is we have no idea what that's going to look like. I've said multiple times, or at least I communicated multiple times, what we need to focus on is the design of learning. We need to focus on knowing where our kiddos are at, having clear understanding of where we want them to go and what those progressions can look like. And then regardless of how that's organized, whether it's in a distance learning environment, whether it's a face-to-face learning environment, or some hybrid learning environment, if we get the design of learning right, they will work and it will support each learner in all of those environments. That's what we need to focus on, because the reality is we're not going to have much control over what the organization looks like. The state is going to tell us that. So as you step away over these next couple of days, I do want you to take some time to reflect on what went really well during distance learning. What did you learn about some of your design and some of your practices that you want to move forward and apply regardless of what the environments look like next fall. Like I said, we learned a lot through our flexible learning days. We need to reflect back and figure out what went well in distance learning, what were some of the struggles. I know that reporting of grading, I know that just grading in general is a little bit more difficult in a distance learning environment. So think about what we would need to do and look different to support some sort of model moving forward. I know that our education system will be forever changed by what's taken place over the last 2 months and what we're going to, how we're going to look in the fall. We won't be able to just go back to the way things were. So we need to be very mindful of the things that we've learned over the past 2 months and apply that learning to future design. And like I said before, I can't think of a better group of people to reflect on our practices and then use that to respond in an appropriate manner as we design going forward. So I'm trying to keep this short, but I wish and I hope that everybody has a good, relaxing summer. I know that everybody's a little bit worn out and tired from all the mental energy that went into supporting our families in a distance learning environment. Take time, relax, be reflective, and then as soon as we know about what the fall might look like, we will begin that planning process and involve everybody in that design so that we make sure that we leverage all the resources that we have in each building to support each student. So that being said, thank you very much for an outstanding school year. Thank you for a terrific last 2 months. I'm proud of the work that everybody did and put in across this district. And I'm proud to say that we are 192. And I know that no matter what happens next fall, we got this.